What's up guys, my name is Ace, and from that brand new gunfight gameplay that we got yesterday that I shared on my channel, where this is raw gameplay, no streamers or anything there, within this gameplay we also saw several new weapons. So today I'm going to be going over all of the new weapons that we saw, as well as a few other little details that you may have missed from that gameplay. So when it comes to new guns, a lot of people were saying there are 9 new weapons within this new gameplay that we didn't see in the previous gameplay. And it turns out this wasn't quite true. David Mickner, one of the multiplayer guys, tweeted, "Not 9, you gotta keep your eyes wide open." Now immediately my first thought with this is, oh great, somebody missed something, so there's one other gun mixed in there somewhere and I'm gonna find it. So I went through like frame by frame on this gameplay trying to find that 10th weapon, but what I actually discovered is what he meant by not 9 is there's actually fewer than 9 new guns that were showed off in this gameplay, but since you can change the looks of guns so significantly with the attachments, a lot of people were counting the same gun twice. So let's hop into it, keeping in mind I'm just going to be pointing out the guns that we haven't already seen in the previous gameplays. I already did a video talking about all of the weapons that we saw in those previous gameplays. These are just going to be the new ones. And the first one you'll notice right up front here is the AK-47, which I did confirm in that previous video because I personally had experience while playing Gunfight when I visited the Infinity Ward studio a couple months ago now. But now we actually have gameplay of that, so yes, AK-47 completely confirmed, which is excellent to see. Another little thing that we noticed in this gameplay that I didn't see at all when the streamers were playing it is it looks like for some guns we will have the ability to select our fire mode, and the AK-47 is one of those guns. You can see on the bottom right corner, if you press triangle, you can swap to single fire, so you have that option to go full auto or semi-auto. Next up, I just wanted to point out this pistol here. Some people were speculating that this was a new pistol that we didn't see before, but no, this is the M19, which is most comparable to a SIG P320. As for the next one, I had a lot of people speculating that this was a G36, but this is not a G36C. What this is it's actually a SIG MCX Rattler, which we will actually be seeing a SIG MCX later on in the game, and it turns out, at least in this build of the game, this gun is called the M13. Now, perhaps it's possible that they have 2 different variations of this actually coded in as 2 completely different weapons, but I kind of doubt that because it seems like with all of the guns, when you add certain attachments, you can really drastically change the look of the gun. So therefore, I'm going to say that this is most likely just that M13, but with some sort of an attachment that will actually change it into that Rattler variant. The next thing we see here is a bolt-action sniper rifle. This one appears to be a very high damage but really slow fire rate bolt-action, so this is likely going to be that sniper rifle that's basically a one-hit kill anywhere in the body except maybe the toe, but the downside to that is you have an extremely slow rate of fire and a bit slower handling. With this one, I did a bunch of digging and I can't find any real rifles that compare perfectly to this, although if we're just looking at the action, it is fairly comparable to an MSR. The entire front end is completely different, but of course with attachments and things, I guess that is possible. In either case, this is a brand new gun that we didn't see within the streamer's gameplay. Moving on to the next new gun, this is an LMG, and this is the MG34, which was a bit surprising to see because it's quite an old gun. However, it does seem like it will probably fall in line with the campaign, being somewhere in the Middle East. Perhaps there's certain factions that are still using very, very old guns, but it does seem a little bit strange to have an MG34 in this. In either case, that is going to be in the game, and you can see it seems to have very good bullet penetration as well. Next, we have a new revolver that they showed off within this gameplay, and this is something I remember playing with a little bit when I was at the studio as well. This is a 357 Magnum, and this is a very powerful gun. It was dealing 75 damage per shot, so it's going to be a 2-shot kill, at least within reasonably close ranges. But it also seems to have a very slow fire rate and quite a bit of recoil to it. Moving on to the next new gun that we saw, this is a Bullpup, and it appears to be an Ash 12.7, which is a Russian Bullpup. And this is another gun where you can see that you can turn it to single fire as well, just like with the AK-47. And with this, I also noticed when it's in full auto, it has a very, very slow fire rate. I thought it was semi-auto at first that he was firing it in, but you can see that he had the option to turn it to single fire, and therefore it was firing full auto at a very slow fire rate. And this just leaves us with one last gun that I saw within this, although there's something else I want to point out afterwards. And this is a lever action sniper rifle, which again, I did have access to this when I was playing the game. It was a lot of fun to play with it. As far as I could tell, it looks like it could be a Marlin, but of course I could be wrong on that. I didn't get a chance to see like the entire model of the gun to really be able to see what it is. But this one does seem to be a lot more mobile than that other sniper rifle that we saw, and therefore I'm going to guess that this is going to be more like one of the quick scoping rifles where you can aim down sight a little faster, but in exchange for that you have to be more accurate with your shot. And like I said, that's it as far as new guns that we saw throughout this gameplay. However, there's one more thing I wanted to point out, and this is what I was doing when I was looking frame by frame trying to find that 10th gun that didn't actually exist. This appears to be a different launcher. Up until this point, we've only seen the RPG-7, but when you zoom in here, you can clearly see the enemy is using a launcher, and that doesn't appear to be an RPG-7, and therefore, this is most likely going to be our second launcher in the game. So there you have it. Now we're all caught up on the guns that are in this game, and when we add those together with the ones that we saw in the previous gameplays when those streamers were playing, that brings us up to 20 guns and 2 launchers that we've officially seen gameplay of in Modern Warfare, and we're still very early on here. I know for a fact there are quite a few more than the ones we've already seen, and this is a really good sign as far as total weapon count, especially when you compare it to Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 launched with like 20 primaries or 21 primaries or something like that. We're already almost at that number, and we're barely scratching the surface. This is really good news. It looks like there's going to be a lot of content this time around, at least when it comes to weapons. And on top of that, I'm actually really excited to see that out of these guns, there's a lot of new ones that we've never seen in Call of Duty before. Of course, you have some of the staples returning, like the AK-47, and that's great. And obviously, if you're looking at a modern shooter, there's going to be some crossover when it comes to weapons, because there's only so many modern weapons out there that exist and that are actually used by military. But it's good to see that they're branching out, and there's some brand new guns in here that like just came out of production and we've never seen in Call of Duty before. So it looks like we're going to have some excellent variety here, and this is awesome to see. We're not just going to be getting those copy-paste weapons. Now, while I was going through this gameplay, another thing I wanted to point out that I noticed, and this could be significant when it comes to the full multiplayer build of the game. I'm talking outside of Gunfight 2v2. But in this gameplay, when the player went on a 5-kill streak, it actually popped up on the top right corner that he was on a 5-kill streak. Now, the reason this may be significant is there were leaks in the past that suggested that they're going to be switching back to the kill streak system or point streak system for multiplayer, where score is irrelevant as far as contributing to earning your streaks. All that matters is kills, or potentially playing the objective you get a point that is equal to a kill. The fact that this is popping up, that he's on a 5-kill streak on the top right corner, could mean that we will be seeing a return to the kill streak system, although at the same time, this could be a little bit of a stretch. I believe back in like Black Ops 2, when we did have score streaks, I do think they still had that sort of a system where it popped up to show what kind of kill streak you were on. But as far as I can remember, we haven't seen that at all in the more recent Call of Duty games. And this is why I think some people are jumping onto that, thinking that this basically confirms that kill streaks will be returning rather than score streaks. But in either case, I did want to point that out because we didn't see that at all with these streamers' gameplay. First off, because they had their face cam in the top right, but even then, I don't think it was popping up. As far as I can tell, the gameplay that you see here is actually from a newer build than what the streamers played, and therefore there's a few things that were adjusted, and this appears to be one of them. But with that, that's going to wrap it up for today's video, and of course, I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about the guns that you've seen so far in this game? Do you like the fact that we're seeing a bunch of new guns that we've never seen in COD before? What do you guys think about the total gun count that we've already seen, knowing that that's definitely not the full list of weapons that we'll be seeing in the full build? And also, I'm kind of curious, for those people that were skeptical initially when they saw the live streams about the gameplay, has this new gameplay changed your mind at all when it comes to Modern Warfare? Just let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah.